bro?
And we're live. So,
Yo.
welcome to the Blue Collar Society podcast. Neil, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, your Instagram, and what do you do?
So, my name is Neil Levens. I'm the owner of Levens Renovations LLC. I live out here in Corpus Christi, Texas, about 3.5 hours outside of Austin. I've been tiling for about 5 years now. We primarily specialize in all sorts of tile and flooring projects, bathroom renovations, and such. Um, I just sub out everything else essentially, but uh, tile is essentially what I really, really like to do, as you can tell from my Instagram, and I'm just real passionate about, expanding quality and doing some really, really cool things in my industry, and just, kind of really making a name for myself in it.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, so you got anything interesting on your projects or anything up and coming you're excited for?
Yeah, man. So, I got the Odie Summit that's coming up in a couple weeks here. We got about 15 guys that got selected to go out to that. And it should be a really, really cool experience to get to just see what Odie's kind of bringing to the whole tile industry, aside from the plumbing and, the drain situation itself. And then after that, I'll be coming home for like
be nice.
2 or
I was waiting for an opportunity to slide in and be like, yeah, it would have been nice to get that invitation,
But no, tell us about it.
Well, I mean, it'll be a cool experience. I'll FaceTime y'all. I'll tell y'all a little bit about it. But
I'm kind of glad Donnie and Omar are not here today because they would have been able to like kind of keep this one going for a good while with you.
I was surprised I was invited. So
No, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope.
I thought it was cool. But anyways, we'll be going out there, and then I'll be coming back home for about 2 to 3 days, and I'll be turning right back around to go back out to Florida. I'll be in Cape Coral with Mario Gonzalez, MGG. And I'll be out there for about 2.5, 3 weeks. And then from there, I'll be coming home for a little bit. And then I'm likely going to be heading right back out to finish up a project with him. It's going to be this huge exterior patio, man, like marble on the steps. We're going to be using, I believe, a Seca system, actually. And,
Is that the
there's
one
going to be
with the pool and like the secondary balcony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a big project. I think he said about 2,600 square feet, man. I mean, it's
Damn.
in the Florida
I do
heat,
get some big jobs, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, Mario's a super, super cool guy. Like, a lot of respect to the projects that he's done. I mean, I started following him on Instagram probably like, 9, 10 months ago. I saw this one project that I think the thing that really, really caught my eye with him and Oakley had ended up, when him and Oakley were working together, they did this one project that was out in the mountain range, like in Utah, and like they were just sleeping out in their campers every night. And it was like the views that they were doing, and I saw Oakley was up.
Hey!
Oh no!
This guy's at the carnivore. He jumps into the podcast. So no warning. Are you in bumping cars right now?
He's on mute.
Oh, we can't really hear him.
Is it a little too loud? Too loud?
Yeah, it's loud.
Mute the mic.
That's... Hey, Mia.
Oh, man. Just stop by to say hi.
We
Check
love
you
you.
guys out. Enjoy the podcast.
All right, see ya.
Nice to check in, bro. Appreciate it. Oh man, well that was nice. Continue, Neil. Continue.
Up in the mountains, sleeping where?
Yeah, man, they're up in the mountains, camping out in their RV, or something like that. And man, they just had this badass view. Oakley was up on like a forklift or some shit, just having to like reach like the top of the fireplace that they're tiling. Man, I mean, it was just a really, really cool project.
Wow.
Seeing shit like that, like that's the type of stuff like that makes me want to like I want to get involved in like those types of installs,
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're like we're kind of like the same in that sense, where it's just like, yeah. But if it's an interesting project, you're like, okay,
It's an interesting project, and I'm just kind of like, okay, tell me more. I started working with this designer, and first project that she had me do, she calls me up, I go do the estimate, and she's like, okay, so we're thinking like black 12 by 24 herringbones on the floor, green subway tile on the wall, miter niche, and I literally was like, yes, like
yeah,
everything she said, I was like, I'm down, like let's
like
run it.
we're down. No,
No, like no, bro.
yeah,
No, it was like the sense. It's like that's just like such a cool fucking thing to do. It's like in my city, man, the tile work here is shit. Like, I mean, the game is there's probably three or four guys that are like on the same level that I am, I guess, trying to like, use advanced systems and do really, really cool things. And, they actually want their walls flat and all like just the things that I've seen in this city is atrocious, bro. So it's like whenever I get phone calls to do like something really, really cool like that, I'm like all ears, man. You
Nice,
know?
nice. Yeah, that's dope, man. Where? So did Mario? How does he get these jobs all over the place? Like, what? I mean, I know you're not working with him yet, but like, this
So
guy's like,
Mario, right after coverings, essentially like him and his wife, they really, really just enjoyed their trip down to Florida, and I'm assuming that they'd been down there some other times as well in the past.
mm,
They just were telling me that they really, really liked it there, and that he's going to look for some work. And right off the bat, he ended up meeting a contractor out there at coverings, another flooring installer. I think it's Interior FX Design, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I've
And
seen their posts together. Yeah,
yeah, so I believe that's the company he's working with. The guy's name is Andy Shaw, if I'm again not mistaken. But
yeah,
they've been tackling all these crazy projects all throughout South Florida. So,
man,
whenever he
that's
called me
amazing,
up,
bro.
he's like, we got a lot of work. Like, we would love to have you out here for a couple months. Like, maybe even work something like full time. And where I'm at right now, it kind of, I guess, like where I'm at in life, it just kind of sounds like it's something I'm interested in, and just kind of want to make that move. So some cool things
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
up, especially with me and him. I hope. We're just gonna see where things go.
yeah. He sent me an invitation for that job out there, man, to come out, and ah, man, I want to make that happen. So, what weeks are you going out there?
I will be leaving on August 22nd, and I will be back September 5th, I believe. I'm
yeah.
only gonna be
Man,
back for like a week and a half though. I think I'm only gonna be here for like 8 days to knock out a shower because I've got my guys are going to be taking care of like electrical, plumbing, drywall, prep, all that. So I'm basically coming back home to knock out a job to go back and finish work.
hey, man, get it how you live, bro. I mean. The only way I would love to come out there with y'all and take part in that, man. But my kids come back on the 16th, and the only way I could possibly make that happen is if my kids, I mean, if my girl's mom comes down and stays with her here while I take off for a couple weeks to go do that with them. So
I
I'm
hear you.
still working on that. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but it would be dope, man. It would be dope. But
Yeah.
yeah, man.
I just got jobs, so I got to see if I can come in like in the back half or in the middle. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we've honestly been like a little slow on work, I guess. Not necessarily slow. Let me rephrase that. We're picking and choosing a lot of jobs, I guess you could say. Like, I'm at that point where we're kind of getting to the customers you want to work with,
I'm gonna say you're not getting the
Yeah,
right customers. That's what I'm working with too.
Yeah. It's like, I'll go give estimates to people, and right off the bat. Like, I'm not trying to sound biased. I'm not trying to sound
No,
like
you can read them.
like I'm criticizing anyone. Right off the bat, these people are going to give me the pricings I want. You're not going to give me the pricings I want. So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I will try to work with people as much as I can, but at the end of the day, I'm also like, I'm not going to sacrifice 2 grand on your ticket for years of my life. Like, screw that. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
So, question: how long have you been in Corpus Christi? You lived there your whole life?
Yeah, I've been here 23 years, man.
So you're familiar with like all the neighborhoods and
I
outskirt areas and things
I
like
could
that.
drive around here in the pitch black, no phone. I mean, I know the whole damn city. It's terrible.
Yeah. So do you ever like when you get an estimate or when you're communicating with a customer about potential job or anything like that, once you get the address, do you check Google Maps immediately to see where they are?
That's what I do.
I mean, I got to see what side of town I'm going to. I mean, more or less, I know exactly where I'm going to be. Like, whenever someone
Yeah.
sends me a street, I'm kind of like, oh, that's over there by, like, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know the
Like
neighborhoods.
today, I got a text for an address. They're like, oh, it's over here on Miramar, and I'm like, oh, which side? Because I'm like, I don't know where you're at.
Which side?
I don't even need the address. Just tell me the side, and I'll find your car. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah. Where is there a good side and a bad side of that street or something?
I wouldn't say that. There's a more cash friendly side, and
Ah, I got you. Yeah. 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 What side of Miramar? I like that.
do I want to be on? Is the question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I asked because like when you're a local to the area where you're doing all the work, it's easy to just like go on Google Maps and find out exactly where work is, and you can determine whether or not that's a job that you really want to even entertain.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Here,
no, there's sometimes like whenever I get an address and I see where I'm gonna be, I'm like,
Yeah, this ain't gonna work out.
I'm just kind of I got to reschedule today.
yeah.
and,
Well,
and
I,
and it's not another thing that I started to do rather than just kind of like blowing people off. I kind of ask people like a little bit of a detail of the project, and then I'll be like, okay, so we charge $40 to come on out, and then they'll be like, wait, oh no, I'm not paying for an estimate, and I'm like, well, it's my time, my gas. I got to go talk to you for an hour. I got to go back home, make phone calls, or do math. Like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm sorry. So I honestly, when I started charging for estimates, that's when I really started weeding out customers. Like I've noticed
So you charge for estimates as well.
at
What's your
first I
fee,
didn't.
if you
So
don't
so
mind me asking?
at first I was charging $20, and now I'm anywhere from about 40 to about $60 just an estimate.
That's very
Now
fair. I like that.
now I don't think that's like extreme at all because like if you really think about it, at the end of the day, if I lose out on that bid, I at least got a tank of gas. That's how I can view it. Or like I at least got three-quarters of a tank of gas.
Now, do you
Yeah,
deduct
yeah.
that final cost off of their bill if they sign with you, or do
No.
you? No. Okay.
I mean again, not to like it's just I see it as it's like a reaffirmation to me to know that you're serious about the project. You're willing to be like, hey, I want this done. I'm willing to spend $20, $40, whatever my number is, just to actually
Yeah, yeah.
see what like pick your brain. I can respect your time and just kind of see where things are gonna land, you know?
Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. Question, man. What do you drive? A Tacoma?
No, I drive an F-150.
I was half bored. I guessed it. Why did I
Oh,
guess that?
a Ford?
I drive an F-150 XLT. Yeah.
Ah, this guy. All right, all
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I drive a
No.
2018. I want a new one. I want to get a new kind of thinking about getting a Chevy. I used to have one, but
Yeah, get a Chevy, bro. Get a fucking Chevy, man.
Don't you
They,
have a
they're,
Chevy? Neil?
yeah, man.
No, get a Dodge. Get a Dodge.
or a Dodge. Second option, Dodge.
yeah,
But
my Bluetooth started crapping out in there, man. I was pretty upset about that. Spent $42,000 on a truck and your Bluetooth don't even work.
Yeah, that's Ford
god
for you.
damn.
At least
Yeah.
it's just your Bluetooth.
Well, shit, man. I think, man, I think electrical problems are just with any brand of truck you get, man. Because this guy I know out here, he's got one of those Chevy High Countries, the 2022 one, fancy ass shit, and just had some electrical problems. He thought it was the battery. It turned out to be something else, and they had it in the shop for like a week and a half. So
Right.
with the newer ones, it doesn't matter what maker you go with. Electrical problems are just definitely, man. They pushing these things out by the masses. So
Well, I mean,
it's just gonna.
that's just how these mass companies are. Like, I mean, any mass company in general, man. probably even Teslas at this point. So, you know.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be, but yeah.
Yeah, seeing how they're an electric car, electrical problems.
It shouldn't have no problems.
I would hope there's no electric problems in an electric vehicle.
Like one of the regulators is screwed up, so now this thing is basically turbocharged. They're already pretty zippy as is. So.
Yeah,
Hey, Neil, quick question. What jersey is that back there? Is that your own jersey?
Yeah, it's a UT jersey.
Oh, what jersey?
UT jersey. It's Texas football.
Yours? Your own?
Yeah, it's mine.
Oh shit, bro! What position did you play?
I was a safety. It's a
Word.
longer story. That's probably for a deeper podcast.
Oh, cool, cool. Well, all right, cool. I didn't know you were a football guy, man. I spent like 4 days with you in Florida, and I didn't know you even played
Man,
football. Did you?
I love football. Football. I mean, dude, I can't wait for season. I'm a huge fucking Seattle Seahawks fan. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'm
Good
not a
to know,
Cowboys,
bro. Good to know.
Cowboys fan, bro. I'll be honest.
I thought that's what I was. I thought that's what you were gonna say. You're a Cowboys fan,
I'm
man.
not
I
a
was
Cowboys
like,
fan.
I'm gonna have to throw up my
My
twisted tea.
family is my family is, but I'm definitely a Seattle fan. Marshawn Lynch.
My grandfather
Dope.
was like,
Dope.
he's like, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but he's like, I'm obligated to be one. So if they win, I gotta celebrate.
No, I mean, no, I can't identify
He's
with
like,
it.
well, no, they're horrible. They
I
got good
went to one.
cheerleaders. That's about it.
I went to a Cowboys game actually last year, and I bought a hat, and I got like a whole bunch of like black ground just like smeared all over the logo and shit. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Word.
Oh no, my Cowboys hat.
Yeah. Well, we can talk football another time, man. I was just curious, man. But that's dope. Um,
What's up,
I
Nathan?
guess.
Nathan's in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Harold,
Nathan.
my best friend Nathan.
Oh, on
Harold.
YouTube. Oh man, I don't even got the YouTube going. Forgot we were live.
You're gonna watch our own stream. You're in our stream.
I know. I just like to have it on the computer here on the side.
So I was gonna ask. So, what systems are you guys using these days?
Jeremiah, take you go first.
So for the wall boards, I stick with Go Board. I'm still a mud bed guy, so I do the mud. I do the pans. I've kind of stick with the Guru system because the Guru kits are kind of convenient to buy.
I'm yet to try the Guru, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so I use them for their pans. They're thicker, which I like, but I don't like overlapping them because you get a lot of build out. But I want to try. Oh, and I use the Flow Effects drain, but I want to try the Flow Effects membrane. So
yeah, I actually I almost bought a roll the other night, like just out of like sheer boredom, because I was like, this looks awesome.
Yeah. Fun fact, I don't know if Dave is still running that promo, but if you buy a foam pan from Shower Concepts, you get a roll of the Flow Effects membrane.
No way, that's dope.
I think I saw something on that actually. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've just kind of been like MIA from the whole like Instagram and everything for the past few weeks. I've just been drowning. But
Yeah, I'll get that too. Omar will call me. Yo, did you see what so and so posted? I'm like, dude, I haven't been on Instagram all day.
No, I literally. I mean,
or I get on long enough to post on my story. I literally just open it up, profile, add, story, bloop, and then put my phone back in my pocket and keep going.
Yeah, there's definitely like the past 3 weeks, I basically just this entire month I've been absent from Instagram. Honestly, posting wise, making videos. I need to get back on content though, 100%.
Did you get banned?
No, I did not get banned. I've been busy, bro.
Word. Hey, that's better.
Man,
but yeah, that's the shower system that I typically use.
Shower systems for me. So I guess since I have just recently got into bathrooms, I haven't been able to do bathrooms for like a long time. I think I probably say this almost every podcast episode I get a chance to speak. So let me not even get into it on that. But I'm working with a contractor right now. He's hired me to do his bathroom work and bathroom remodels and all of that. So I'm just now getting back into bathrooms. The only system that I really have experience with is KBRS and um, Go Board. I would like to try Hydroblock, of course, and
See what I can do
I
for you.
don't Hydroblock, Guru,
No.
and let me see what was the there's a third out there that I think, but it's basically just like it's so this place out here at Ensure Tile has a system called Impervious. So it's basically it's
Oh,
just like I don't know if you ever purchased well, I don't even know if you have a floor and decor where you are. Do you have a floor and decor out there? No? All right. Well, it's fuck. What can I compare it to? KBRS's original boards. Have you seen those?
No.
They're just like the foam board with like a very
got a
thin layer of
mesh.
cement. Yeah. Um, but who Omar has talked about this system a couple of times on the podcast, and I seen it recently. It came up in my feed. It's like RPS or something like that.
Oh, RSS,
RSS.
RSS shower systems.
All right,
Yeah.
that so those three, and I think there's one more that I came across that we've seen that covering. I can't remember what that one is right now. Um, but yeah, those three basically just because since I don't have too much mud bed installation or mud bed experience, um, I find these easier to use, easier to install, and just like the episode when we had the guy from Hydro Block on, I asked him for some advice, basically how to like sell
Who y'all
that
have
that
on?
type of what's up,
Who do y'all have on?
I can pull
Jeremy?
him up. I
Was
think
it
it
Jeremy?
was Jeremy.
And
He's the Louisiana rep, I believe.
Okay.
dude, you still have sunlight out? Oh, you're an hour behind us. My bad.
I'm in Texas, buddy.
Yeah. My bad. I'm like, man, I had to look outside for a second, but yeah, I asked him like, basically to just like give me some pointers on how to sell those type of systems to customers and other contractors who are so used to or kind of stuck in their ways of like the old systems and what is it, what's the terminology they use? Water in, water out or something like that.
Water out. It's also known as the divot method. And, you know, don't get me wrong, these old systems, man, they're great. Like, none of my
Yeah,
water in, water out systems have ever, knock on wood, I mean, to my knowledge,
yeah.
never had a leak and I've never had any problems.
Yeah. If they're done
Hmm.
correctly.
If they're done
That's
correctly. And,
Right.
it's crazy to like look back on like some of the things I know now, and I'm just kind of like, damn, I really wonder how that shower is holding up. Like,
yeah.
there's definitely, I'm not gonna lie, I feel every installer has, whenever they were first starting, they did things that they were either taught incorrectly or they just
Yep.
didn't know any better.
Yeah, and there's just so much room for error with those systems.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
that's why I
that's the
said
way
if
I
it's
see
done,
it.
A lot of
that's
room
what I was
for error.
saying. If it was done
Yeah,
correctly, because you can, the weep poles, that's the biggest thing. Some people don't put like the pebbles or the little guard for the weep poles. If
right.
because they get clogged and there's not like a good pre-slope, then that bed just gets saturated and just grows every little thing.
Well,
And then
another
it just
Right.
thing that these people, like they really do not account for, the curb. You are not
yes.
supposed to, you are literally supposed to just wrap the rubber, and then if you're going to screw it
Put a
or if
screw.
you're going to glue it, you do it on the
Put on the other
outside.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a lot
yeah,
of people
yeah,
have this issue where they will just continue it over and then they just puncture. Like, you're
Yeah.
literally,
yeah.
water is going to go there, and
And that's sorry, not to cut you off. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why starting off, I kind of didn't want to learn how to do mud beds because I had already seen it done several times, and not one time did I see it done the same way or the right way. So I was like, there's too much for me to learn right now, and I already got jobs coming in. I'm talking about 3 years ago, but I already had jobs coming in, and I'm like, man, it's either I keep subbing the work out to the guys that were doing my tile work, which I was paying them. I was either way. It was either I keep doing that, or I learn how to do the mud beds, or I get in with at the time the first system that I found was KVRS. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'd much rather just do one of these systems. And I don't know, man. They got me sold. I don't. I would still learn how to do a mud bed and do all of that correctly because finance, it's much cheaper, of course. But I feel
Well,
like if
on
if
that,
the customers are the ones paying for the materials, that shouldn't really matter to me. So
you're not wrong at all. But let me
yeah.
tell you a crazy story on that, man. So
Hmm.
I ended up bidding out this one shower this one time, like a whole bathroom renovation, and I was under the impression that I would be able to like sub out my old boss to do the job for me. Well, I didn't even think I was going to end up getting the job. And then this one day I get a phone call and they're like, "We're ready for the job. Like, you want to start?"
Like,
And I like
oh
start reaching out to my
shit.
old boss and he's like, "I can't take the job for you." He's like, you should know what to do. And I was like, "You never taught me how to do a mud bed." I was like, "I don't know how to do my liner." I was like, "What do I do?" I did not know anything. Okay.
Your plumber doesn't
So,
do your liner? Because my plumber does my liner and he does the
so,
pre-slip and the
so
liner.
I was about to say, and I'm further up north, it's regulated that plumbers are the ones responsible to do that. There's no regulations here in Texas. I could literally have
Yeah.
some crackhead come and do my pan, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, that's so like my plumber, he actually did work in Boston, I think. He has like 30 years experience installing like cast iron tubs in high-rise buildings. And so what he
92
does over
years of
here.
experience. We love
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, and he's only like 60 years old. So
Yeah.
overtime, baby. No, but no, he'll do the vinyl pans. It's just I don't like the vinyl pans, and I can actually kind of agree and attest to what you said. When I worked with another company and I first learned how to do it, they're like, yeah, you just take the go board, you screw it in there, and you seal over the top. And then one of the buddies I was working with was like, yeah, well, you put sealant over the liner portion, and then you put it in, then you screw it, then you seal it again, right? So what I did is, it kind of piqued my interest, and it got to the point where they weren't teaching me fast enough, right? I wanted to learn more, so I started learning independently, and I'm reading, and I'm like, oh shit, we're not supposed to be putting anything in this thing. So that's why, and I started looking into, how to do the curb specifically, because that's the number one point of failure. Right in front of the shower, the
Right in
curb,
front
and
of
the
the
niche.
shower and then the curb.
And then, yeah, the curb, the niche, and then if they have a bench, sometimes the bench. Any major change of plane.
Oh, you're just kind of dumb if you fuck up the bench.
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
it can
but
happen. But yeah, so I started looking into how to do the curb, right? People, floating it out,
I,
all
I
these
do
different
I do mud
methods.
float curbs every now and then.
Yeah, so it's just
They're great.
there's Yeah, there's a couple different techniques to it, and that's why going to like a bonded membrane system kind of appealed to me a lot more. Um, at least for the pans, I don't, I have my opinions on putting, like the Curdy and the water stop and all the membranes on the drywall, because one, it costs more. Two, I feel like you're doing twice the work, and you could just get a foam board and be done with it. And plus, obviously water is not supposed to get behind it, but if water somehow does get behind it or a pipe leaks or whatever, we all know when drywall gets wet, it turns into drywall mud. So
So
I
it's
don't
for
like it.
me with the whole like Curdy and like membrane systems. I how do I say this? Um, every job calls for a different sort of application. Every
Mhm.
job is different. I'm not opposed to membrane systems because I've definitely done them in multiple occasions.
Mhm.
But if I were to know everything I know now, I probably would never do another membrane system on drywall.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with that. Um, how Curdy your grave is what Nathan says. Nathan just said he was going to Curdy our grave.
Curry
Yeah.
your graves.
Yeah. I mean, again, I have nothing. Again, all these
No,
systems
no,
they
Curdy.
work.
Curdy is by
They're
far my favorite like membrane out of all of them. I mean, it's the one I use on my pans. But I will say, it just always makes me skeptical throwing it on drywall.
yeah.
Always.
So, and again, this is when I talk about this stuff, we've always had this discussion. There's no doubt that these systems work. It's
No,
more
they
of a
work
preference thing.
100%.
It's just a matter of at this point we're like nitpicking at little things. You know, these systems are so good that we just nitpick at little like
No,
semantics.
it's just like the TikTok that we all were posting the other day. It's like tile installers are
Oh
pretentious
yeah,
pricks. You know, we
yeah.
will nitpick any little thing
We
just
don't
to
wear
kind of
shoes because
like
we're levitating above us.
we don't wear. I float.
Yeah,
I float. I don't
float
walk.
above
I float.
everybody else. But yeah, so I mean, I like the bonded systems, but it's just I prefer the foam boards. You know, I understand that like the the bonded systems, they're fast, right? You throw them on the wall, you technically go ahead and start tiling. Same thing with the foam boards. My thought process is if I'm doing the prep work and I'm gonna put the boards up and plumb up the walls and do all that stuff, there's no point in putting a membrane over it. But if the drywall is just going to come in, slap it, do all that, and then it's just ready if you put membrane on, walls
That's
probably aren't.
100%. I'm just gonna run it with the membrane.
Yeah, but walls probably haven't been fixed, so I hope they're using a curtain rod.
Oh, you were talking trash, or
Oh
you
boy,
were. What were your feelings on the built with foam shims? You
me?
said you had some mixed feelings, and I want to
Yeah,
know because at first I had mixed feelings, and then the second time I used them, I had never had a wall that flat in my life.
yeah. So I would say the second time I used it, and I think it's a lot of user error. I will say I did just buy a kit. So I will say for what I like. No, so where it comes in handy, and this is where I've grown to like it, is me and Omar did a bathroom, and these walls were fucked. I mean, I'm talking twisted shit, like it was in different ways, and it's just at that point being able to take like a half inch or 5/8 or sometimes more up at that very top portion. I feel comfortable doing that versus wet shimming wall. I wouldn't wet shim anything that near that big. I'd sister and stuff and all that stuff.
And everything before I do a wet shim.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll do a wet shim if things are, I would say about 3/16 to a quarter out, right? That's where I'm kind of comfortable with it.
Won't do it.
You won't? See,
No.
I'll do a wet shim like that.
There's the crap out of me to do it.
So, but yeah, I've done, we float. Yeah. Well, more props to you. I ain't floating shit.
Have you ever? Okay, so speaking of foam and all this, have either of y'all done a mud float on a wall? And what's your take on that?
I've done it we did it on a bench, and then there's a knee wall, and then the guy did the main walls.
Or have you done? Have you ever done like the scratch coat?
Yeah.
You put on your sticks and you float. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what he did.
No,
He
no, hell no, never did that.
Yeah.
Never
So he
done it,
did.
man?
He put a shim up there,
No.
pieces of plywood that he ripped down,
No.
screwed it in place, and then he put it in. He put it up like that, and then he took a trowel and just would rough it up a bit essentially, and then knock it down. And I like it. I think it's interesting, but it's very labor intensive. Now, if I was doing like a full on like everything's custom, then I would be more open to it. But
I've always been curious as to why exactly is all that work necessary. Like, because there's some guys that
I would say
they just do that.
Okay, don't ever say this in front of like heavy mud floaters, but like I first learned how to float. Like that was how I was taught to lay tile. We floated on walls at the subdivision I worked at for a little, and then we obviously switched over to fiber rock, and there was a new installer there, and then things went to trash. So when I was taught to learn how to float, it was essentially you were able to make a surface not necessarily so flat and so like square, but it's also you can make it built to last. Like that mud is not ever going to leak. That stuff is so thick, it is just like as if someone essentially took like those spraying things for concrete and threw it all on your walls. And I mean it's solid stuff. I mean,
what's it called? Spray shot or something, because they do it for pools,
and they do it for like Gypcrete. They do it for a whole bunch of things. They all have that machine that it sprays it. And floating, it's a great thing, and I love it. Now, the reason why I stopped doing it, as Nathan is literally just saying right now, it is one of the messiest things you will ever get into. I mean, I can't explain to you. It was just like at the end of every day, like my skin is just dried out because you have mud all over you, and
Yeah.
it's not like thin set. It's like you don't want that stuff to touch you because it starts to burn
It's like
after a
more of
while.
a true concrete, or it's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not a fun
What exactly
process.
is it? It's just mortar or no?
Yeah, it's mortar. It's type S mortar. If I
Oh,
yes,
okay, okay.
no, yes, it's type S. It's type S
Yeah,
mortar.
because that stuff dries you the hell out. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
I
that
mean,
I've actually kind of looked into the folding walls portion because I mean I've told you this before, but my background is in slab tile, and I wouldn't really feel too comfortable putting that on a go board. Now stuff like hydroblock, very dense, right, and it's kind of got that solid concrete feel to it. I'd either do like a very high quality foam board, or concrete backer board, like cement backer board, just because it's so sturdy. But floating walls, it seems to be like the way to go. I mean, if you're gonna do it like the whole bathroom, the walls, floor, everything, I would just
I
float
mean,
mud bed,
there's
float up the
nothing
wall.
wrong with cement backer board for that type of application. I mean, if it was me personally, I would use backer board over foam, just
Mhm.
because I would want a much more stronger surface.
Yeah,
The
like
only thing that
foundation. Yeah,
yeah, the only thing that use a great topical like Hydroban 5 times. I
so I
don't
do
trust cement
hydroban.
board whatsoever. Like I don't I don't really know how to explain it. It's just a product that I don't trust. I also don't trust Trident board. I'll
Yeah,
say it
'cause
right now.
it sucks ass to work with. You can just say that. It's a
So I actually had a valve leak in a shower. It wasn't anything with the tile. I mean, it was the plumber. So whenever we came back in to do the repair, and this is also why I'm really, really big on pipe seals, the valve was dripping. So essentially into the crevice of where the valve was cut. And you know how, since there was no pipe seal, the Trident board, the inner part was exposed. So that water that was
uh,
dripping was getting all just soaked up by the Trident board. Well, whenever we came in to actually replace the valve and take a look at everything, that inner part on probably the first tile was just mushing away. I mean, I was able to
Hmm.
pull it off like it was just like soggy paper almost.
What color is Trident board?
The Trident that
Blue?
we no Trident.
Oh.
Okay, well Trident also has a. I'm also really familiar with their topical, which is a yellow, and their
Hmm.
topical. I mean, we've had good success with. It was just like the board itself, and it's just something we don't use anymore. And Daltile, at least in Texas, I know does not carry it anymore.
Hmm.
okay. So
Have
yeah,
y'all
Did
for
I
never
hear
used?
you? Hold on, real quick. Did you say that you go over foam board with the topical as well, or did I mishear that?
Sometimes,
yeah,
so
change of
so
planes you do.
my change of planes, okay, well, it depends the system. So if I'm using Schluter, I'm probably just going to thin set my banding and I'll leave it as is, you
Oh
know?
yeah, you can use your banding. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, whenever it comes down to a hydroblock system or like Go board or something like that, what I do or what I have done with hydroblock and what I will continue to do is I'll put my sealant in my corners, I'll let that dry, and then I'll flash it again with a crack isolation and a banding.
So you do that too. That's what oh, you
I
do
have
banding on top of it,
I have
or do
trust
you
issues.
banding or gauging fabric?
The fabric.
Okay.
Let me
I'm like,
rephrase
damn, you're
that.
thin
I don't.
setting over. That's 3 layers of that shit ain't
No,
ever
no.
leaking.
I get mesh and I just wad it on, man.
Yeah.
And I just put on a real good layer. I have trust issues to say the
Now
least.
that's just in your corners you talking about?
Yeah, I flash
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
And honestly, it's just something I offer to the customers. I mean, that's why I charge what I charge, and it's just kind of like, hey, I'm gonna double waterproof your shit. I'm gonna make
Right.
sure that this is done right the first time because that's my company's motto, and I'm real big on like,
Hey, can we get
do it.
into that? Can we get into that kind of like how you present bathrooms, how you present a waterproofing system to a customer, like what options you give them and shit like that?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I mean, I try and ask customers. I'm real like I said, who's going to be willing to pay your price for bathrooms and stuff. So whenever I
Hmm.
go in, like I hear them out with everything, and I'm like, okay, so here's the deal. I'm I do like these really high end systems. I do like this, and this for my showers. I'm gonna come in here, make sure everything's all plumb and level. I was like, I can offer you two packages. One's gonna be a foam system that's gonna have X amount of year warranty with my company and the manufacturer, and then I can tell them,
Yeah.
and then I can tell them, man, now I'm sidetracked.
Your
And then
two your two options. You got your phone system, and then
system, or you got a cement board system that I can give you, and it'll save you a lot of money in the end, but I'll probably charge you more in labor because I've got to
Yeah.
deal with cement board and I don't want to breathe that crap in.
Yeah, that's a debate we've had with cement board. It's like it's cheaper, but what you save in material, you gain in labor.
Right.
So yeah, that's
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
what I tell my customers is, it's like respectfully, it's like, I love working with you. You're great. But at the end of the day, when I'm done and I say I'm done, you don't want to see me again unless it's for other work, right? And I don't want to see you again unless it's for other work, right? It's nothing. I have nothing against you. And they kind of laugh. I kind of make it a joke. It's like, you don't want to see me again, and I don't want to see you again. Not because we don't like each other. It's just because you wanted me to get it done right the first time. So I'm a lot of my interactions, I use a lot of humor. That's just me. I mean, you when you were there with me, you could tell I was joking about everything. I cracked a joke every second I could get. So my customers kind of like that. My customers kind of like that. So it's just like it's like, I don't want to see you. You don't want to see me. If something needs to be done, then it needs to be done, and I'll come by and fix it because at the end of the day, my name's on it. But
So Steve,
you see that question? Do clients want an option? Seems like you were confused.
So honestly, you'd actually be surprised. I kind of at first, whenever I got into like the foam systems and really trying to do things on a higher level, I was very strict. Like, I'm not going to give you an option. You're going to do it my way, or we're not going to do it. Just because I know that that's like the most secure and the most efficient and professional shower that I can provide for my client. But then I started to notice there's a lot of clients that actually told me, I don't understand why I'm paying this much in material. So whenever they started hitting me with that, I was kind of like, okay, what if maybe I offer like a cement board package, and then I'll use Ardex 8+9, or I'll use Ardex S1K.
So break that down for me, because I'm not familiar with the Ardex lines. I guess what's considered your contractor quality versus
8+9 is one of the best waterproofing things waterproofing crack isolation membranes I have ever used. You have to mix it yourself. It's like a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's a great product. I mean, it's fast drying. You do one coat one direction, the next coat the other direction after 30 minutes, and the grit and just the thickness of the overall product itself is great. F1K is kind of like Hydroban, except it doesn't dry anywhere as fast. Artist 8+9 would probably equal Hydroban XP, that new one that I've seen a lot of people are now using to just essentially waterproof the pan, and then it's ready to go. I mean, 8+9, it's one of the superior topicals on the market, 100%. I'll stand by that.
Okay.
I think they were looking for 17.
No.
Is that Donnie? Who's Froggy Green?
I think that's Donnie. He said Donnie, so I'm gonna hope that's Donnie.
All right, if that's Donnie, then we probably shouldn't listen to much that he's saying in the fucking chat. But if that is not Donnie,
Donnie, I don't like you.
But okay, so
that's why I didn't send you. That's why I didn't send him a baby boy gift.
Oh man. So I guess back to the whole getting the options thing.
Bingo. Yeah, no, the options.
Yeah, because I kind of run into the situation where it's just like, most people, they don't know what it is. They're just like, I want to pick the tile. That's pretty much it. And then you got some people, and I've noticed it's always guys that have been in construction or been in the trades that are like, if they've ever specifically requested like a cement backer board, like around here, people want hardy board. because they want to be able to like, jump on top of it without it breaking. So they're like, I want hardy board. I'm like, well, I don't particularly work with it and I don't like the product. So I was like, if you really, really want me to put it in, it's like, I'll put it in. It's going to take me longer. And I'm not like, yeah, I was like, I'm not really going to warranty it. Like if a tile breaks, great. But if something goes, if something more goes on with it, that's not what's going to happen. You're the gift, Neil.
Oh,
and like I've got a guy that I work with on the weekends, or I used to work, and he swears up and down by Hardy, like Hardy siding, Hardy products. I mean, it's definitely sturdy.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but I'm just not big into the shower. Like I love Hardy siding. I just don't like Hardy boards on the wall.
No, I understand that, and to each
I
his
hate
own.
working
Like
with that
I
shit.
said, every job requires a different type of material. I mean, steam showers, I'm more than likely going to want to use a membrane system.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of showers? Steam showers, you said?
Showers, you would more than likely want to use a membrane system.
Why is that? Because I don't have any steam shower knowledge or experience.
I believe it's like the fabric, or not the fabric. It's essentially like, I want to say the membrane itself can endure. I think it just has like a longer endurance against steam. Now, don't hold me to that because I'm not a membrane expert, but I mean, I know that every time I've ever been to a Schluter workshop or I've been to the Ardex workshop, they've specifically always tried to like, lean more towards membrane systems and showers.
So Steve says, what's your preferred thin set and grout? I can see adding an upgraded option for epoxy grout. I find that to be one of the most important aspects. I'll answer that here in a second with the epoxy grouts, but I'll let everybody kind of do their rotations.
So
go ahead, Neil, since you're the guest. No, you're the guest.
I definitely go with X5 is like my go-to thin set, Ardex X5, no matter what. And I use a little bit of the X77. And if I can't get any Ardex, I will use Sika 450 LHT. That one's by far an amazing thin set. Grouts, I'm just pretty much Ardex FL grout. I'm not a fan of their DG1. Their Epoch is pretty good. So.
Well, my answer will be kind of short since I'm kind of not really deep into tile. I'm kind of just getting back into it. But the Sika products they got me sold. The only prior experience that I have in the past was all with my pay products, and I didn't have any fun using their products. And yeah, it's gonna be Sika for me and Lady Creek. That's what I'm using right now with the guy that I'm working with, but he's not really getting the good shit. So
yeah, because using 252 silver, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
I hope he gets some of that.
The only time I ever use 252 silver is to put like Duroc down to the subfloor, just because I don't want to put like a really nice thin set. But for me, when it comes to setting materials and grouts, I'm for the most part Laticrete all the way. I'll use their like I said 252 if it's just for leveling purposes. Like on the cement boards. If it's I typically stick with LHT. That's the lowest I'll go. But lately with my customers, unless they're on a budget, I just go Multimax and Trilite because they're 25 pounds. One's 25 and one's 30. And the Multimax has Microban in it. So it's
Multimax,
an antimicrobial. And I use Multimax to set all my membranes in a pan because of that antimicrobial. I'll typically do like a somewhat of a mix, like whatever I have left over, I'll put the uncoupling membrane down with Multimax just in the off chance water does get underneath there. Then I'll do all my membranes in Trilite or Multimax. Same with the uncoupling membranes. Tile as well.
I'm still here.
The 254 Platinum is really good. So if it requires, like a
254 once.
No. Yeah, and I actually found out something interesting in my Latitude handbook. Do you know what they use to make it lightweight?
Surprising.
So they use
Ooh,
now I'm gonna forget.
55.
It's the stuff they use for body armor. Crap. Now I praise this all the time to people. Now I can't remember what it is.
Body armor.
Yeah.
Coconut water? What are you talking
Water.
Until I remember how. Hold on. So I'll come back to that
Kevlar.
once I remember. Kevlar, yes, Kevlar.
All right.
They use Kevlar fibers, and it was actually kind of interesting because whenever you wash your buckets out and stuff, you'll start to notice like this stringy fiber in it. I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then I saw they had the Kevlar trademark on it, so they use that. And then I use Permacolor Select in my area or Spectralock One, and I will swear up and down by the Laticrete epoxy grouts. It's a pain in the ass to clean. But it's
Any epoxy is a pain
yeah.
in the ass to clean. Let's get that straight.
Sika.
Before no,
Okay, I don't know how easy it is, but I've seen. All right, I haven't done it myself personally, but I've watched the demo. Huh?
I'm about to be doing secret epoxy thin set in Florida.
Oh shit.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's using. Oh, yeah, he's using all Sika products in that big job out there, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. That's the. Oh man, that's. Fuck. I hope I can make it, man. Anyway, yeah. I watched a demo with their epoxy grout, and remembering back at the times when I haven't had to, well, I mean, besides that little laundry that I had to grout the other day, but compared to what I remember from grouting with my pay products, man, I was like, damn,
Oh,
this shit
shit.
this looks like what it is, man. I'm really interested in using those epoxy
Yeah.
grouts.
Yeah, the FA, that's I will give it that. It is rock hard and it dries solid, but it just sets up so fast. I don't like it. So I typically stick with like Omar swears up and down by it. But I don't like FA. And
Right.
Donnie, I can say that the Spectralock does clean up very well, Spectralock Pro. Now, the Spectralock Pro is a big misconception. Spectralock Pro is not epoxy grout, it's epoxy rated. There's a difference. I actually found that out.
Wait, the Spectralock Pro, you said?
Yeah, or not the Spectralock Pro. Is the Spectralock One? There's one, the pre-mixed one. That's like the highest grade you can get. It's not epoxy grout; it's epoxy rated. I think Spectralock Pro
Okay.
is the actual epoxy.
Epoxy graded. That's I like the
But
way they said that.
but the Laticrete one where you have the A and B mix and you mix it with the grout, and then in my case, you have to mix the color up with it as well. That stuff is strong. You got to clean it. It smells like crap when you mix it together, though. But yeah,
Spectralock One,
okay.
Nathan said.
Okay, but yeah, I probably had that backwards. Honestly, I just walk in and I just know the box. I'm like, gimme, I want that. Yeah. So I don't even tell me the price. Just ring it up. Don't even tell. Just buy it. But yeah, I'm Laticrete for the most part. I feel like Permacolor in the bag dries faster than Mapei FA.
What about in your estimating process, Neil? Like, all right, for example, a couple of the guys, I think we are all basically doing this, right? I don't, I mean, you can confirm, but between myself and the other three guys in the podcast, we make like when we give an estimate, the customer will cover their tile and grout. What are you putting on the customers to make sure that I mean, the toilets and all those extra things, of course, but what are you putting on the customer to make sure that they take care of and you kind of
They
do with the rest?
I basically calculate out all the materials that I'm going to want on site. So I'm going to want this thin set. I'm going to want this grout. I want to use this Schluter trim. I want to use like X amount of hydroblock board. Whatever it is that I'm going to need, I write all that down. Whatever it is the drywaller is going to need, I write it all down. And I price out all the little things that they're going to need. And I say, this is how much you're going to be paying in materials. Probably going to need more materials. Like, there's probably like be ready for another charge for more materials. And then I tell them, pay me all the materials up front. I get all that before I even start your job. I need 50% down before I even start your job. And then we can get the ball rolling on everything. And, if there's more things that are needed in between, you reimburse me the difference and I get paid at the end. Now, if I need like an
Gotcha.
installment here and there, I'll ask them for it. But 99% of the time, I do my absolute best. Like, pay me here, pay me then,
Okay.
because I don't want to sound like
Gotcha.
greedy about it. I feel like a lot of the time it kind of gets sketchy whenever you're like, hey, I need to get paid. Hey, I need to get paid. Hey, I need to get paid. Like,
Yeah,
pay me the 2 times, we're good.
yeah. Now,
So what's your strategy? Since I guess we'll go cycle through this.
I mean,
Just because
essentially, like,
I feel like I was talking to like
for
Harry.
me,
Yeah, just because it seems like everybody's different on who provides what. Is like
well, I found the most simple what Omar kind of brought to the table, where you provide all of your own. I mean, you provide the customer wise. The customer provides their tile and grout, and I provide everything else that I need to use to do the install. I like that because that leaves me in charge with being able to decide what waterproofing system I can use, and I don't have to. I mean, I'm not there yet, but this is what in the direction that I'm leaning. But yeah, that's what makes it the most simple for me, man. Just now
see
going
this.
back to Neil, but hold on, let me just run back to Neil real quick. Actually, no, hold on. You go ahead and give your answer, and then I got another follow-up question. Go ahead.
So for me, this is where I think it's kind of different when I talk to the people I know through social media. I try to
Mhm.
advertise as much as possible that I'm as much as a one-stop shop I can be. For the most part, tile, I send them the best tile. They go to the showroom. I tell them, hey, you order from them. I'll give you my contractor price. You get the discount, and I don't charge you for it. And I do free deliveries. I got to pick up my setting material anyway. Plus, I know
Mhm.
they'll match the batch numbers. Everything's on time and ordered. But everything else, like I usually supply the toilets, the plumbing fixtures, even the cabinets. I'm a cabinet distributor. So I have that. I have my granite people. I have samples that I carry with me. I generally provide everything. Now, unless the customer wants something very specific, like a certain vessel sink, or if they say, I want Hansgrohe, then we'll go Hansgrohe. But I kind of say, I use Moen, even down to the grout. I say, I provide the grout, you pick the color. Because in my area, the permacolor, we don't have the permacolor that's pre-colored. We have the permacolor select. So you get the base, and then you buy the grout packets for like $8.50, the colors. So I let them pick their color, and then we go from there. So essentially, they're just providing me tile. That's how I run that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Well, I mean, I kind of like that because that I mean, the only thing that they have to provide at that point is basically just the installing materials, right? No, not the installing materials, but so they just pick the tile or provide the tile, and that's it. You take care of grout and everything else.
yeah,
For me, or
Well,
yeah.
no, for Jeremiah.
Oh, say
I
that
was
again.
gonna say,
Sorry.
whose question was that?
So you said the only thing they provide is the tile. You provide the
Yes.
grout and everything else.
Yes, and I even leave an
Okay.
option. It's like, if you just want to tack the tile onto your invoice, just let me know. Like I will have to charge a fee to kind of
Yeah.
facilitate that.
Yeah.
But some people don't.
That's funny as hell, bro. It's all good.
But so just to make sure, Neil, because I know you said that your time for the episode's kind of running short today, so we might have to get you back on at some point. We're kind of running past the time frame that we originally were shooting for. Do you need to go anytime soon?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be probably good to get it wrapped up, but
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
then, I guess tell us where we can find you on Instagram and like social media, and give us our closeout for you, your grand finale.
so yeah, man. Appreciate you guys hopping on, seeing and listening to everything that we got to talk about today. If you want to go ahead and follow
Yeah,
me on
man.
my Instagram account and levens.tile. I'm just going to try and get back more on the content train, and stay tuned for what I have coming up in Florida with Mario and the Ohio trip, and hopefully some more work coming out pretty soon here.
Yeah, make sure you're posting all of that, bro.
Yeah, no.
And it was great to have you on
So
here, man.
get back to it, man.
It was great to meet you in Florida. Which that's a good connection. I'm glad I made. And we'll get you back on at some point. There's a lot of questions that we still got for you.
Yeah, just so you know, around my house, bro, you're my uncle for taking care of me that night at the Seeker event.
Hey,
I told my girl.
like that, man.
I told my girl before the podcast. I was like, "Yeah, we got my uncle on the podcast." And I said, "Your uncle? What the hell are you talking about?" I was like, "Remember I told you the guy that took care of me at the Seeker event where I got fucked up?"
Me and Danny were taking care of your ass. That's right.
I had two uncles and one aunt. Red Fox Reno, yeah. I told her.
But anyway,
But yeah,
thank
man,
you for
it's
coming
been good,
on.
bro.
It's been good to talk with
Appreciate
you.
you guys for having me. Much love.
Yeah, man, for sure.
You have a good
Peace
rest.
out, bro. Be safe, man.